bring. You know what? What I want to talk about. We're catching up a lot, and I like that. I want to talk about some upcoming news, and I want to talk about some upcoming fights that I'm excited about, and I'm going to throw some names at. Well, let's save the upcoming fights.
I'm excited for November 4th, the Garden.
Oh no! Oh my!
That's going to be a good card.
We could delve right into that if you want. Why don't we just take a quick look at that?
Yeah.
Where is it? Do we have that card in front of me? Because I want to.
You have it.
I also want to talk
Bisping
about
fighting
that.
St. Pierre.
What's that? Oh yeah, that fight.
Yeah.
Tell me. I have my take on it.
Look.
You
First
tell
of all,
me your
George
take
is
on
a
it.
dear
And we do have
friend.
some news about both guys.
George is a dear friend. I love George. But does he deserve a title shot after a 4-year layoff? Absolutely not.
Okay.
I mean, you have a lot of middleweights out there who've been fighting constantly
It's
out
true.
there. You have Whitaker out there who just beat Jacare Souza and Yo Romero, and you have of course Rockhold and our boy Chris Wyman. And you have all these guys.
No.
And but of course they're going with the money. Who's going to bring more money? Of course, would be a GPS Bisping fight.
Yeah, well, GPS, he'll find his way to the stadium. For sure. Yes! I was going to give myself an applause, but that's being a braggart. But what was I going to say? But with GP, now I'm calling him GPS, with GSP.
GSP and GPS.
I know, it's great,
GPS.
isn't it?
Did I say GPS?
No.
Oh, my God.
Well, we'll get that.
GSP.
out. That's great.
GSP, GPS. Yeah, I was using that coming here.
Yeah, right?
GPS.
Yeah, you use the GSP to get
GSP.
But now,
George St. Pierre. I'll just say George for now.
No, you can say
George St.
GSP.
Pierre.
Call him anything.
GSP.
We know what we're talking about.
No, he's a friend. I should have known GSP. Come on.
It happens, dude. It's
But,
three.
and I'm
it's
going,
three
and you
letters.
didn't correct me the first time, so I kept saying
Oh,
GPS. Yeah. Look at him. This guy's more punchy than I am.
Man, the GPS. You're waiting for UPS. It's all good. GSP. But so listen, my take is to play devil's advocate there. I mean, yes, the line is, there's a line around the block. You got guys that are hungry to challenge for that belt. Guys you just named,
Absolutely,
very deserving. But George when he left, it's not like he got his ass kicked and took. That guy hasn't lost since
you
2007. No, I hate to bring that up, but seriously, he only lost twice. He cleaned out his whole division.
Yeah.
He cleaned out that division when he left. It's not like he didn't clean out that division, If Johnny Hendricks was still lighting it on fire and he was like the champion, that's the only thing that would make sense right now it would make sense from the challenge the welterweight title. Right. But, now who should they, I don't know. Does it make sense? I'm going to watch it.
Well,
I'm excited about it.
The money makes sense.
Yeah.
With a GSP
now, but let's talk about the fight, though.
And Bisping.
Let's talk about the fight.
Right.
What do you, talk to me. And now listen, you're friends with him. But
I'm friends with both of them.
I want you to be unbiased and tell me what you think.
You should know better because, let's face it, you knocked GSP out.
Yes. Well, I'm going to tell you my take on it in a second.
And now he says that I'm coming back as a not the champ this time. Well, he came back with you, not as a champ. The second fight.
Yeah, it didn't work out great. Why do you got to bring that shit up? I'm only kidding.
Hey, you what? You beat him.
Hey,
you were the world champ,
and
that you can never take. Nobody can take that from you, buddy.
Yeah, well, he took it from me. But listen, that's not the point.
Well,
I don't care. It's fine. I'm used to it. But wait, now before we didn't get to your opinion on who do you think's going to win the fight, George St. Pierre or Michael Bisping, man.
Look,
we can't be on the fence. You look at their skill set. Tell me what you think. I'll tell you my take on it. I want to hear your take first. What do you think? What does your gut tell you? Like, the size of Bisping, the styles make fights.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what I think.
We all know Bisping's tough. He takes a beating every time. His face looks like he's the loser every time. Is GSP going to be in top condition? I'm sure, because even though he hasn't fought and he's been away, I'm sure he's been at the gym and training.
Yeah.
But I think he balloons up to like 190 when he's not fighting, right? So,
regardless, Michael Bisping will be the bigger guy in that cage.
I'm excited. I want to see that.
Yeah.
You're
on the you have no
Cody too with Dillashaw, man.
We're getting to that in a second. But
that's going to be badass.
So you're not taking
what? I don't know.
It's hard for you to pick.
I think it's going to be an exciting fight.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll see what George comes in, of course.
Well, I mean, look, this is my take on it. Now, I think styles make fights, and it's going to be very hard to take Michael Bisping down and keep him down. He's been taken down, but he's extremely good at getting back to his feet. So now George has fights the Nick Diaz fight. The one that really comes to mind is the Thiago Alves fight, because Alves was not getting tired in that fight, and he was a bull. This is when he was in his prime, and and it was back in the day, pre USADA, but that has nothing to do with anything. But he was really built and strong and powerful and not getting tired for 5 rounds. And George would get him down and wouldn't keep him down. He'd end up getting back up.
Yeah.
Just to be jabbed, plays the distance, and then gets back in. If he gets a clean takedown, great. If not, he gets him up against the cage and gets him down again. The guy and Thiago would get up again, but then he's losing. Next thing you know, that happened for 1 round, happened for 2 rounds. Now you're 3 rounds in. Now you're afraid to commit to the strikes because you keep getting outpointed by getting taken down. Michael Bisping, okay, it was a 3-round fight, but it happened 2 times with Chael Sonnen and with Rashad Evans at 205. That was at 205.
Right.
So what happened with both those fights, Bisping came out clean. You could make a case for Bisping in both fights because he was in both fights. But he did get outpointed by that game plan, pretty much how I just told you.
Right.
By a game, like a style similar to George, by guys who were bigger, possibly better wrestlers as far as with Chael Sonnen, not better athletes, and not George is a master of what he calls the shoot box, is the striking to the takedowns. He's a master at it. Yeah. And he's sparred over when he was at Jackson's and everywhere else with a lot of heavier guys. And he's and from what I've heard, he's won plenty of rounds. He looks at a fight as not 5 rounds, not 3 rounds. If it's a 3-round fight, he looks at it as 3 different fights. 5-round fight, that's 5 different fights. So each round, he just tries to win that round by the way I'm telling you. So, and ever since my fight, it's because that's when he was staying more in the pocket and it didn't work out for him. He corrected that.
Right.
With John Danaher, who's really the genius that's in his corner. Because John Danaher wants him to get in and out of there without taking a shot at all. And he's very good at getting that fight to the floor, especially against the cage. And like I said, in the open, in the middle, nobody's as good with that closing the distance, the feet, the floor, the shoot box. Nobody is as good as closing that distance. But will it wear on St. Pierre? Will the weight wear on him? Could Michael Bisping, who's known for his cardio, just be too much for him? So I mean, I'm intrigued by the fight. A lot of people are disappointed or saying like, this, Luke Rockhold, and Chris Weidman's my guy. I love Chris.
Absolutely.
But he did just get back on the horse now. He got the monkey off his back and he's back. And I expect him to get that title again. I really do. That's how much talent he is. I hope
so.
I love Chris Weidman. As a person and a fighter, he's a great guy. But this fight with Bisping, I am really intrigued about with GSP and him. A lot of people could either hate on it, deserve it, not. Regardless, I'm really looking forward to it because
I am too.
Because I know what it's like when George is on. When I fought him that second time, he was on. He was on. And I feel if I was at my very best, excuses are assholes. I'm not going to be that guy to make any kind of excuses.
Absolutely, yeah.
But if I feel I was in my best condition ever, I feel that it would have probably been. I feel I would have made it through, but I feel it would have probably reminisced a couple of those fights that I brought up. Those the fights where you just keep getting outpoint. That's why I feel at my very best. That's because he was that on. Jab.
How was his punching?
Nothing. No, I got winded more than anything. I took a nice couple elbows to the face, which cut me up. But the knees to my body, I was just exhausted at that point. At the end of that fight, when you see me on all fours, people are like, man, how's your ribs? I didn't feel those knees at all. That's kind of dramatic. It's kind of like, oh my goodness, but it wasn't. Yeah. It was more of, I'm just exhausted for cutting up and down for almost 10 minutes, and I wasn't really prepared for that. But it was, what I mean by closing the distance, when I was fighting George, I do some stuff when I'm boxing or when I'm sparring, is where to get close, especially with my height, a lot of times, like when I fought him the first time, I would double, triple jab until like a 2x4. I would come in behind that jab, and the second I felt anything with that jab, I would unload, start low and end up high. Mm-hmm. So I knew where he was, and it worked out great for me. In that, if you watch that first fight, it was starting battle my way in behind that jab and work his body, or just start on the body if I was close enough, take away his kicks. Mm-hmm. But the second fight, when I tried to advance, he would come right underneath. So then I was trying to bait him in, especially when I felt these, I don't know if it was the first round or the second round because I haven't really watched it that many times because it was depressing. But what I did in sparring a lot is I'd let a guy jab my face and get ready to beat it back with a right hand. So I make like it's bothering me or make like it's hit me, go to walk back a little bit, and then just off right from my chin, turn with the right hand.
Right.
And I get a lot of guys in sparring with that. But this motherfucker George was so quick.
Yeah, he was getting your legs.
Well, he was jabbing my face at one round, and people were liking it, and he was like, oh, that you heard it. And then I'm like, all right, you fucker, get closer. And the second he went to, I went to throw that right hand, he went right underneath again and took me down.
Absolutely.
So it was so annoying. So it looked like he was just doing what he wanted, even when I was trying to set him up.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's what happens with a lot of boxers. I mean.
Oh, no.
If you remember when James Toney tried to come into the octagon and he fought Randy Couture.
Yeah,
he
but
threw one punch and that was it. Randy took him down.
No, he was done. But anyway, back to George is quite the athlete.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
I love him. I mean, I know
But
him.
there's other card. There's a card before that.
Well, here, quick, I was just going to say,
Right, what were you
so
gonna say?
two interesting points about it. George